Good afternoon, everyone. Sharice Jervis Hill here, president and founder of Events to Remember and PR to Remember. I have a nice treat for all of you. I have Miss Madeleine Raiford-Holland from MHM Luxury Properties. Can't wait to get into that. And also MRH Education. So you'll kind of give us a little insight in both of those worlds. But firstly, Madeline, thank you so much for being here with us all the way from Athens, Georgia. Thank you for being
Thank,
here with our listeners. Welcome,
thanks so much for
welcome.
having me. Looking forward to chatting.
Absolutely. So, of course, our little afternoon cheers. So, cheers to you.
Cheers. Mm. How do you make your cup of coffee?
Yes, I have my second round of caffeine. It's needed today, but I'm feeling nice and perky. What about you?
I think this is cup number three. Are
Oh, got
you like
me.
cream and sugar person, a latte? Do you drink it straight black?
I like cream, no sugar. No sugar.
Oh,
I remember I did like this kind of healthy fasting where I had to do coffee with nothing in it. And it was like
oof.
for like a 21 day. And what I found was drinking black coffee, which I don't like black coffee, but drinking black coffee, I really got to taste the coffee and I realized that
Mm.
sugar, it kind of gave it a different taste. So after that like fast, I implemented half and half cream back into the coffee, but I don't feel like I need sugar now because I really taste the coffee. So,
You
and
trained
that's been
yourself.
years. Yeah, it's been like years. So I don't do any sugar in my coffee, but I gotta have the cream. I gotta have the cream.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes. All right, so let's get into it. So tell me a little bit about how you got started, Madeline. Tell me a little bit about your company and how you got started.
Absolutely. So, if we're going to take it kind of all the way back, I went to school thinking I wanted to go into medicine. So I got a biology degree from Virginia Tech. I
Okay.
realized a year or two in that blood, guts, throw up was just not my jam. So I said, we're going to have to shift this around a little bit. So I went and got some career counseling, and they said, business, entrepreneurship, that seems to be what lights you up inside. And I was like, okay, well, this is interesting. Let me get some experience. And so instead of taking an extra year to change my major, I went out and got some experience, internships. And, my career led me to eventually becoming the COO of a government contracting company, which
Mm-hmm.
was fun, certain aspects of it. I did a lot of travel.
Hmm.
I spent about 100 or so nights a year in hotels.
Oh, wow.
And, that's fun when you're young and
Young.
single and,
Yeah.
living life.
Hmm.
But I was by myself quite a bit. And so I ended up creating this lifestyle website called Moderately High Maintenance, where I was sharing my travels. I was sharing gluten and dairy free recipes, just different aspects of my life.
Hmm.
And it got me used to sharing content, sharing it consistently. And I started having big name brands start reaching out, wanting to collaborate, like Target, Delta Airlines, these
Hmm.
big household names. And I ended up growing that business to a six-figure content creation business.
Nice.
And during that time, I was pretty content. We had a good thing going. My husband was doing a similar government contracting job, traveling, but we were
Mhm.
generally traveling in opposite directions.
Direction.
And so I will never forget sitting at our kitchen table. We had a first son, 10 months old,
Mhm.
and we both just had gotten to this breaking point of saying, we're making other people a bunch of money and we're not building anything permanent for ourselves. We're traveling in opposite directions. We don't control our time. We're missing these moments. So we said there has to be another way. And so we had read somewhere that real estate makes more millionaires than any other industry out there. And I said, all right, well, let's start looking at this. And because we had both traveled so much, we had stayed at a lot of Airbnbs. We said, maybe this is for us because long term rentals didn't have a lot of return on investment.
Hmm.
I wanted something where I could take all that I had learned in my past experience, whether it be hospitality from staying places, operations, sharing all of the different items that I had shared on my lifestyle website and putting it in a physical property.
Hmm.
So that was the advent of MHM, so moderately high maintenance, but MHM luxury properties. And it was so wildly successful that we opened 5 more properties in 6 months. And then I started helping other families create that time and financial freedom through short term rentals because it allowed us to be able to choose how we spend our time. So that is the long and the short of it.
I love that so much. I mean, that's one of the things that I really enjoy about producing this podcast, Coffee with Cher, because we really get to hear these stories of entrepreneurs and their journey, like what led you to where you are right now. And that's like it's so cool. I love how you just kind of incorporated all of your experience, all of these little mini chapters that kind of brought you to where you are right now. That's pretty awesome.
Thank you. It's been a
Yeah.
wild ride, but I think the biggest lesson is that no training is ever wasted. You know,
Yeah,
from each part of my, adventure, I've taken something from that part of my life and brought it forward to what we're doing now.
that's fantastic. And where are all of your properties? Are they all with Georgia or like,
Yes.
nationally? Tell us a little bit about your properties.
So my personal properties are in Georgia, Tennessee, and Florida. But we have helped our clients all over the world, actually, but from coast to coast, invest in short-term rental properties
Hmm.
close to home or manage them remotely. If they live in California, they typically don't want to buy California, so they come
Yeah.
east because it's a little
Hmm.
bit more affordable. So I mean, my personal portfolio is kind of southeast located, but we're
Okay.
always looking at opportunities.
That's great. That's so great. And how long have you been in business now?
Yeah, 3.5 years. We're working on 4 years right now.
Fantastic. Fantastic. All right. So what sets you apart from others in this space, Madeline?
Yeah, so I think as a whole, and this has been throughout my journey, whether it's on my property side or in my coaching and consulting side, a theme that rings true is quality over quantity. I'm
Mm,
big on competing on value, not on price.
mm-hmm.
When we are going into a market, we want to be a top tier property wherever we are. I want my clients who I'm helping get started in this have one-on-one hand-holding approach because that's where people see the results. And when you
Yeah,
focus on having a high quality and not just quantity of people coming through the door,
yeah.
that's when you can set yourself apart.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I agree 100%. Good strategy. All right, so anything new for you? Anything new happening? Anything that we can look
Oh,
forward to from MHM or MRE?
let's see. I just launched my podcast
Okay.
a couple of weeks ago. It's called The Lux and the Short of
Congratulations.
It. Thank you. Thank you so much. It's been all about sharing stories of people who have had a big change in their life and embraced it as an opportunity. And
Mm,
then focusing on creating the life that you want to live, being able to choose how you create your time. And that is life's ultimate luxury. So,
mm-hmm.
the Lux and the short of it has been kind of a fun creative outlet, very similar to how moderately high maintenance started in the beginning.
Yeah.
Um, the Lux and the short of it has been a really fun creative outlet for that.
Awesome. I love that. I'll look out for it for sure. All right,
Thank
so
you.
this is my last question, and everybody knows this is my favorite question because I've built this podcast for entrepreneurs to really come together, to support each other, to look at everyone else's journey, pick a little something that might resonate with them. So, if you could leave advice, or if you could give advice, I should say, to someone, and it can be a new entrepreneur, someone who's thinking about tapping into this crazy river that we're in, or it could be someone who is has a business and, might be going through a little rough patch? What kind of advice would you share, Madeline?
Oh, I think the best advice, well, can I give two?
You absolutely. You can give
Okay,
three. It's much we
two or
want to
three.
share. Yeah, whatever.
Okay,
Yeah.
love that. So, for those of you who are just starting off, the main piece of advice is you don't have to be an expert to start.
Mm,
Just focus on taking the next best step in your journey. Because if you wait until you're an expert or if you wait until the perfect time, it will absolutely never happen.
mm,
So that is my true advice for the beginner. For those of you who are already kind of getting started, you've taken that first step, find yourself a community of people who is already doing what you want to do. People who are not on that same path with you, you're going to get a lot of chirps from the peanut gallery because misery loves company. And if that person is not going where you want to be, tune them out and do not even listen.
mm-hmm. Amen.
And for those of you who are already there and who are wanting to scale, my best advice is simple scales and complicated fails. Keep it
Oh,
simple, and that will take you so far.
love everything about what you just said. Thank you for sharing such good nuggets. So, where can everyone find you?
You can find me on Instagram, LinkedIn, or my website at Madeleine Raiford-Holland. My name has an extra E in it. So Madeleine,
Mhm.
Raiford-Holland.
Okay.
Or if you want to stay at one of my properties, you can find us at mhmluxuryproperties.com.
Awesome. Well, thank you for sharing those nuggets. Thank you for being here with us. It was so great meeting you and learning about your journey. And I'm sure that that advice that you shared will be a gem to someone else.
Thank you so much for having me. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.